The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the third day of July, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, Sherry Vanderpool, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sherry, how goes it?
Good morning. It goes well. I can't complain.
Oh, you can't, huh?
No, I've had a wonderful weekend.
Oh.
And still got a little bit more to go because it's a holiday here tomorrow, celebrating the 4th of July.
Oh, a holiday like in the United States, huh?
In United States, yes. My bad.
Well, I mean, no, they had a Canada Day or something, Maya's holiday. People who went to school in Canada all down at the beach the other day. I was riding across and I was like, what's down this place? And
they didn't go to school. They went to university. You always tell somebody who went to school in Canada, say they went to university.
Yeah,
you're
interesting,
right?
Yeah. Language is important with these people, right? I tell you. But no, I didn't get an invite. You got an invite? Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, but happy. Do you say Happy Canada Day?
Yeah.
So happy Canada Day to Canadian friends. Hope you had a great Canada Day. I don't know if they celebrate the Declaration of Canada Independence or anything, but whatever you do, hope it was a good one. Sherry, I went to brunch yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
It was my sister's birthday.
Right, and I saw you had a little introduction. You met somebody.
Yeah, I met my niece on Saturday and didn't quite go so well.
I saw that and I understood her feelings. I was like, girl, I get it.
Well,
it's scary.
It was better yesterday. I mean, I had a bottle, and once you put the bottle in the baby's mouth, baby kind of befriends you. So we got along pretty well. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had a great weekend. Mama P is here and Papa P is here. So we also here I went to the Atlanta Braves baseball game and the Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And we won. So that was, yes. I was there. I'm old for the experience. I had a hot dog. I had a beer. I was,
let's go back
to the little shop.
When did you become an Atlanta Braves fan?
I've always been an Atlanta Braves fan. I go with whatever city I'm living in. Before I was Texas Rangers, Atlanta Braves, Dallas Cowboys.
I could have asked you last year what sport the Atlanta Braves play, and you might have said hockey.
No, definitely not.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
Catch yourself. I went
a bit too far, folks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it was awesome. The first time I've been to Truist. No. But the first time I've been to Truist Park, so that was really, really nice. Parking is awful. I'm gonna say that, but yeah. Other than that,
taking it up.
Yes,
but whatever.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, folks. I know you ain't baseball fans, but no, I'm a big Braves fan. And to Fulton County back in the day before they moved to Turner Field, which was the Olympic Park, 1996. Haven't been a County to the Truist. Sherry actually beat me to it, but we'll fix that because she'll be taking me to games regularly very soon. But anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss what a change in demographic in Bermuda means for the island. Yeah, think about that. The Daily Play is a Who Said It. And folks, I just want to tell you, we're going to be doing some shopping days this week. Take advantage of some sales. If you haven't gotten the email, just reach out to me personally. I'll give you my personal email address, Jamel@BermudaCommunications.com.
Wow.
Well, it's not personal, it's my business. But yeah, if
Okay.
I just gave it to you. But hit us up. Make sure you take some advantage of some of the deals taking place at People's Pharmacy, Medical House, and ER Fishers and Foods this week. So let's get at it. We want to help you save money. At the end of the day, you all need something from one of those places. Don't wait till it's back at full price. We're trying to help you. And follow us. Make sure you subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Well, that said, let's get into the chamber. Well, first off, good morning to you, Karen Simmons. Happy Monday to everyone. She said, Tanya Cheeseman says, happy Monday, Jamel and Sherry. Have a good week to everyone. Yes, yes, yes. And Sonia Clark says, congratulations, Uncle. She looks just like her Nana in my eyes. Matt, like, yes, that's my niece, Ayla. Like, yeah, she likes me now, folks. It took a while, but
I understand her.
Sherry loved me, man. Loved me from the first time. Anyway, so look, let's get to it. So I took a flight to Bermuda on Saturday. I came to Bermuda, Sherry.
Okay, everyone, watch out.
Yeah. I'm that guy that was on the road Saturday night that you were all cussing out because I was doing the speed limit. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I don't whatever. Anyway, I don't know the road. Seriously, I'm not going faster than this. Is I don't know if it's a pothole there. So, but you all can call me what you want, right? Anyway, so I caught this flight to Bermuda on Saturday, and when I did that, it reminded me of an experience I had in 2003 when I'm going to school in Rhode Island. I left Bermuda and I was what they call it, transferring flights, connecting flights in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when I got on the flight to Rhode Island from Philadelphia, it was a packed flight, full flight. And I had never visited Rhode Island prior, but I was the only Black person on that flight. I was like, I'm leaving Huntsville, Alabama to go to Rhode Island. What am I walking into, right? When I came on the flight, and I don't know if folks tell me if you know this. I don't know if the Bermuda Tourism Authority, immigration, anyone keeps track of like the racial and gender or demographics in terms of the travelers outside of where they're coming from, cities and stuff, right? But on my flight on Saturday, my eyes could have failed me. But I'm pretty sure I was the only Black person on that flight coming to Bermuda. And it was packed, I was happy about.
Yeah.
I was the only Black person. And remember, I've been saying on this very show that the Bermuda's demographics are changing. Just on the front page of the Royal Gazette this morning, I saw something about Jamal Simmons, the MP for the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, saying something to the effect we need to bring Bermudians back to Bermuda, right? And there are people coming. I'm on LinkedIn, folks. And if you're on LinkedIn, you'll see such and such from Ireland or the UK or Canada just relocated to Bermuda. If you want to find out how I did that, hit me up. I can get you there too. I'm dead serious. I look at these posts often on LinkedIn. I look at these posts often on LinkedIn. But let me just put a disclaimer, Sherry. This is not a hateful or disparaging or discriminatory conversation. This is really a conversation about, I had a conversation this weekend with someone, and they basically broke it down in a way that if Bermudians really understood a comment I made on Twitter some weeks ago, it would probably make a bit more sense. Okay. What I said, I asked the question, I said, what if someone told you that the PLP government has caused as much harm as the UBP government? And people up in arms with the BS talking, oh, the UBP did this and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, so the PLP is not doing that? Here's what I mean by that. Yes, the UBP took care of their people. When they government made purchases, who were the companies that they were purchasing from? Chances are they were owned by a member of the UBP or their extended family.
Right.
PLP has been in power about 5 years, since 1998. Those same families are still benefiting greatly. Think about that. So as we speak about the change in demographic of Bermuda, you've got to ask yourself, if the One Bermuda Alliance were in power right now as government, I guarantee you we'd be having these conversations more often about the change in demographic, about Black Bermudians leaving in droves, about people not doing enough to get them back in Bermuda. I guarantee you, if a Michael Dunkley, white Bermudian, was leading Bermuda in government right now, this would be of great concern. But as numerous people, Charles H. Jefferson II has said it in these comments often. Maya actually made reference to it in one of her news breaks about rather statistics, I believe, are being capped in regarding to Bermudians leaving. We don't know. We only know what we see. Sherry would tell you. Sherry would be like, oh, this person lives in Atlanta, that person lives, and I'm like, really?
Yeah. When we spoke before, Jamal, wasn't it 30 minutes? I have about 3 or 4 Bermudian families that live about 30 minutes around me. Like
people I thought still lived in Bermuda. And so I guess the conversation needs to be had. And the question of the morning, folks, and it's for me, this is a very important question, because with changing demographics comes a lot of things. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So what does a changing demographic of Bermuda mean for the island? What do you think a changing demographic of Bermuda means for the island?
I think, part of it is that we have already starting to, I think our culture sometimes is watered down. And if nothing else, that's going to continue. If you have Bermudians leaving the island, who's going to make Bermuda Bermuda if Bermudians aren't there? We have to also look at the reasons why people are leaving, Jamal. Why are people leaving in droves, as you said? And that's not a lie. Like, you're not even exaggerating, right? When the UK opened up for Bermudians to come, there was the first group of people that left. Now there's another group. It's like the first lot went, now there's another. And most people, I've understand, is because of the education system, more opportunities, better economics and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand UK can be expensive. It can be this, but you still have ways that you can live and survive. I heard somebody said, if you want to live expensive, you can. If you want to live middle class, you can. And you could do it comfortably. I think Bermudians have to get out of the mindset of just that whole money. Once you get over to UK, that little bit of money, well, it's called cost of living. That's why you make so much in Bermuda, because the cost of living is high. Not because we're rich. It's because the cost of living is high. So it's just a shame. I think we're just going to lose what our culture is going to continue to be watered down.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be a few people left trying to hold on to it if we don't figure out a way to bring people back home.
And we'll get to the comments, folks. We will. But Sherry, you hit it on all corners just now. But my question was often like, do people care? Because it seems like we have a government of the day that their main concern is, let me get mine while I can. Which brings me to, let's go to the audience again, folks. What are your thoughts? What does a changing demographic of Bermuda mean for the island? Michelle White, she says, yes, with Bermudians leaving and businesses arriving, eventually, yes, our demographic population will change. This formula goes against the government plan, or does it? Well, I like that last part. You would think, right? Because when the One Bermuda Alliance was in power and they were pushing for immigration so that they can, open up the borders to bring in more people, because the island desperately needs more people. The opposition, PLP at the time, and the unions fought. So not just unions, but the People's Campaign, right?
Yeah.
They all fought against it so hard. And people were saying, well, look, changing demographics, they're just going to add more white people to the population, and that's going to cost the PLP votes and this and that. I remember all of that talk. I want to ask the audience, regardless of your political affiliation, what do you really think is different between both governments as it relates to that? I just don't think, if we're honest, if we have honest dialogue, I'm not quite sure you all can really see a big difference in ideology at this point based on something like immigration. Because at the end of the day, the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party has been government for the majority. Maya's 26, she said. Right? I said she said because, she's wise beyond her years. She's 26. At 26, right? She was born in mid-90s, something like that, I guess. But at 26, Maya has experienced more of a PLP government than any other government. Now, I don't know her politics, and she'll probably never share me, and that's okay, because it's none of my business. But you cannot continue, at least with the intellectual group of people that are coming up, to use the old tactics and think that this group is going to be like, yeah, that's right. No.
Yeah.
So when we talk about change in demographics, this is bigger than politics. This is about the ideas and the culture and the traditions. I've been in Bermuda for what? 48 hours? I don't know. I'm not a math guy, but 48 hours, let's say, right?
Yeah.
I've been out to eat. I haven't seen a Bermudian serving me.
Not one, Jamal?
I've been to 2 restaurants. I haven't seen a Bermudian. And this is not hate, folks. Let me be clear. What I'm simply saying is we've already changed. And change is not a bad thing.
I remember going to one of the hotels, probably 2013, 2014, and going with a friend of mine, and she was just like, this is just awful. Like, none of the waiters or waitresses are Bermudian. And this is back then. And I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. And now it's just like, that's the norm. And I think the other part of it, of course, is you want to have a true Bermudian experience. Like you said, the demographics change. When you go to that restaurant and speak to that waiter or waitress, are they going to be able to give you the same experience? Like, suppose you weren't Bermudian and you went to ask questions. Would they be able to answer? And now again, it doesn't take from what it is that we do need. We do need more people there to work. But you go to Bermuda for a Bermudian experience. You should be able to get it somewhere.
Well, Sherry, I'll tell you what a change in demographic means with you saying that. I'm going to go back to your first comment. Remember when we were growing up, there were Warwick United, PCC, PHC, Dynamic City Rockettes, Hamilton Parish Hot Peppers. We had a lot of majorette groups. Remember those days?
I do.
Yeah. When I was growing up, you had multiple football teams, right? Tons of them. At the younger levels, you had one club would have 3 different mini minor teams because of the amount of young people. You had people that had 2 and 3 jobs, which I don't necessarily advocate for. But you saw Bermudians in certain spaces doing those extra jobs in the restaurants, hotels, and whatnot. A change in demographic takes away from what you're used to. Gumbays, majorettes, cot match, the cricket game itself, your national team, the pool got smaller, right? I don't know if people understand, but this is a crisis. It's a crisis. And we need to ask our government questions as to what are they doing to ensure that Bermuda remains home and a place for people to even return with their families and their children. Like, I almost want to say to any Bermudian who's watching who lives outside of Bermuda, what would it take to get you back on the island to contribute to your home? Let's get back to the question and the audience. What does a change in demographic of Bermuda mean for the island? I want to go to Rosalind Famous. She says, we desperately need a census. None has been conducted since 2016. Rosalind, maybe I'm a little bit off, right? But I feel like those who would ask for the census to take place feel like they have nothing to gain from it, so probably have no interest in having it done. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think anyone would disagree about us needing a census. But for that to happen, I think people feel like, well, it's not going to help us. Why do it? But I would agree with you. Michelle White says, at the end of the day, there is no real party difference. Maybe now realizing where the money comes from, the government wants to get what they can. That's what it seems like, right?
Yeah.
That's what it honestly seems like. And it's sad because a few people sent me over the weekend, Sherry. The affirmative action thing happened in the United States. Then they did some law about, LGBT business was allowed to not serve. I'm sorry, I've got it all wrong. A business was won the case where they were allowed not to serve LGBT clients. And so a lot's going on in the Supreme Court in the US recently, right? And then a couple people, sent me a story this weekend about 4 Black women losing their positions as diversity, equity, and inclusion executives.
Interesting, Jamal.
I laughed. I laughed. You know why I laughed? Because we're here talking about a change in demographic. I don't do optics. I don't care if a Black woman or a Black man, Chinese woman, I don't care if they're given some executive role. What I do care about is what they do in those positions. I am sick and tired of Black people getting up, clapping, dancing, and celebrating other Black people when they get appointed. But yet these people get in positions and disappoint. This is how we actually got Donald Trump. Because Black people were disappointed in Obama. Maybe their expectations were a bit off. We also got Donald Trump for various other reasons, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you follow ADOS and FBA, Foundational Black Americans, descendants of African Americans, or Black Americans, as they say, or enslaved Americans, you would understand that a lot of them just don't support Obama. They don't see him as one of them. Because he is not a descendant of slavery in the U.S. So that's the point I'm making, because I know somebody out there is on some tip. But anyway, back to the question. What does a change in demographic of Bermuda mean for the island? Karen Simmons says, the change in demographic would change the experiences, historical recognition, traditions, and culture for our visitors and even guest workers.
Yeah.
Nachika Trot says, traditionally a census is conducted every 10 years.
So we should be coming up on one. I was going to say, and in regards to, because I'm sure there is somebody in the audience that is trying to come for me and Jamal, or Jamal and I, as to why, you both live outside of Bermuda. Lived outside Bermuda since I was 16. I've come back 10 years to contribute to my country. So don't come for me yet. in various roles, Jamal. I was a social worker for a number of years, a taxi driver, worked at the Boys and Girls Home, Give Back. So and you and I both, I believe, of course, was in this, outside of it. And so the demographic isn't just us. The demographic is more than us.
They can come for me.
Don't come for me.
I'm gonna say this: take it arrogantly, disrespectfully, however you want. You could come for me, but I guarantee you, if I died today, I'm probably done more for Bermuda than probably 90% of people. And Ronnie Smith, the late Ronnie Smith, actually said something like that to me, right? when you've gone and risked your livelihood and still got a $250,000 bill over your head to fight for other black people, mainly black men, come talk to me. When the fights that you take on are not about personal gain per se and what you can build for yourself, come talk to me. Despite the coaching and mentoring I've done for other people's children, like I've contributed to Bermuda for me and the missing father. Make that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look, I wouldn't do this show and speak the way I do if I had not done what I've done in my community. So I'm comfortable people coming for me, because I tell you what, the conversation won't last long when we put record against record.
Last at long at all.
Because at the end of the day, people say, oh, I want conscriptions over what you're going to fight for, black people.
Yeah,
Because
the fight still continues. Yeah.
Yeah, it continues. Right now, and this may upset some people in the LGBT community, but my purpose, my focus right now is getting black people in the LGBT community to understand that you're black. You're black. And believe it or not, you're black first. I'm sick of seeing my people being used. I'm tired of it. So I'm coming to educate you and hold your hands and walk you back over that line. This fight is far from over. And they're doing anything to take you away from your purpose. Intersectionality, they call it. Black person coined the phrase, apparently, but they love that. Junior Birchall, now goes by Ajala Medele, said it best. We can't fight against our brothers and sisters, regardless of their sexuality. And I agree. We have to protect our people. But what I'm not going to do is sit by and allow our people to be used and taken away from the greatest struggle we as black people have experienced. From slavery right on down to the experience of discrimination in modern day and current day Bermuda. So leave it at that. I'm coming for you, black LGBTQ people.
I opened the door.
You're coming back up. Rosalind Famous says, is our long-standing work permit process truly serving the island? Is it promoting modern-day slavery in some circumstances? Is it pricing Bermudians of the island? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no to the first one. I don't think it's truly serving the island, the work permit process. But no, I think we have some issues. All right. The point is to understand, says Sonia Clark. And then Rosalind Famous says, yes, but there was a census done 5 years prior to 2016. Yes, I thought it was 2010, but she says 2011. I thought it was 2010. Well, folks, let's bring Maya in for the Daily Hour News Break. We'll continue. We had an interesting question on our Instagram stories as well. And I think we should talk about that after the news break. So don't go anywhere. Let's go through these two comments before we bring Maya in real quickly. Michelle White says, to change our culture will result in a downturn of tourism. Visitors want a change of experiences. No tourism equal less restaurants than what? Then Anthony Pete says, what are the potential impact solutions? Many a person I know who relocated have said, now we can literally breathe economically.
Wow.
Well, hey, we have a government in place that I thought was supposed to ease the burden. I'll leave it at that as we bring Maya Palacio in for your Daily Hour News Break.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, madam. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
I like you and Cher's hair.
Thank you, Jamal.
Aren't you guys happy? I know, like I'm getting better at this, ain't I? What?
That's your frown, Sherry. It's your frown.
My mother said, and she's here, when you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I'm just listening. Go ahead.
Anyway, I tried, folks. I mean, I'm trying to get better at this.
2 weeks later.
Maya, you didn't have yours like that 2 weeks ago too, did you?
Did I, Jamal?
I don't think so. No. No, she didn't. It's today, right, Sherry? No, no.
I'm definitely not helping with anything. First of all, if you notice Maya's hair before on the first day, and you didn't notice mine until 2 weeks later. So I'm gonna help you with this. You didn't even notice mine, but you noticed Maya. I keep saying, you guys, the stepchild runner. I'm telling you.
I think it's time to change the subject. I'm in a hole. So Maya, I don't know if you want to add to this, have an opinion, changing demographic of Bermuda. I mean, any thoughts?
Well, I suppose it's going to end up being what you guys have already been talking about. It's something that you kind of have to see being flushed out, but it's not. That's what I want to do. I don't want to say unnatural, but it's something that has been happening over time, and I think we've seen it just as if we feel it more now. Like we probably saw it before, but now we feel it more. Obviously, in our tourism district, I know we talk a lot about the hospitality area, but there's even so many other areas where Bermudians aren't in places taking up certain types of spaces and jobs. I remember someone actually messaging me probably a month or two ago about a position that claimed that there was no Bermudian able to fill without the credentials, but a person had messaged me saying that's incorrect because I'm capable and I have certification, but yada yada yada. So there's been I know people are distressed, but yeah, there has been a huge push of a lot of Bermudians leaving the island. I think we all see it, but now we're really feeling it.
I think that was a great word to use there, Maya. Unnatural. It is unnatural. Because if we make it feel like it's something that's natural for us to be doing, then it's okay. But it doesn't. It feels very unnatural to have Bermudians on a Bermudian island. Yeah, or I leave. Yeah. We should be uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
I have so much more to say, but honestly, it's not enough time. It's hard to have these conversations, honestly. And I think both of you did, as you always do, 10 times better than me in actually saying things without offending people, because it's almost like it's hard to have these conversations without offending someone, right? We're not being territorial. We're not. But it's almost like I'm considered an immigrant in the United States, for instance. But I understand what like the foundational Black Americans and the ADOS people, I actually understand them. I may not agree with them. Obviously, they hate me. If we were standing next to each other, no one would know the difference, where we're from. But I get it. And I think it's not a Bermuda problem. It's an everywhere problem. But again, we could go on forever. And I know Maya wants to get to her news break.
Yeah, because we can talk a lot about the fact that we have to have different visas and things to get into different parts of the world. It's just like, but that's just the human experience, how we built it for ourselves. We're such an interesting species. But yeah, we can go on forever with that. Morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Starting out with happier news, the police service has confirmed that the 16-year-old Tajay Bean has been found, located, and is safe and well. So good news for the family, I'm sure. And when I mentioned last week on the show about the Eastern School Alliance and the new advocacy group called PAGE, well, I did get a confirmation. They are separate groups. Just a reminder what PAGE is here. I'm just going to throw it on the screen. But they are separate groups. PAGE is advocating on behalf of all Bermuda schools, and the Eastern Schools Alliance is focused on the needs of the 3 primary schools in St. George's in St. George's Parish. They said, they are connected, and there is some overlap as well on any desired amounts, primarily for the pause of the primary school consolidation process to allow true community consultation. And that came from the Eastern Schools Alliance spokesperson.
Good to know. And thank you for that clarification, Maya.
No problem. Coming up next, the Minister of Tourism in the Cabinet, Vance Campbell, wishes to remind the public about the recent amendments to the Tourism Investment Act of 2017. Just putting this up on the screen here, but the minister says, quote, "Our tourism product extends beyond the hotel. Restaurants and attractions are essential components of the visitor experience and have long been associated with visitor satisfaction." He also states that some of the recent amendments in the act will provide incentives for new or existing restaurants or attractions, and you can see kind of the attractions up there and what type of relief they'll be getting for taxes. But just for an example, basically, if you are an existing restaurant, they'll be increasing the period of full relief from customs duty from the commencement of the tourism investment order from 1 to a period not exceeding 3 years. And if you're an attraction, the increasing the period of full relief from customs duty from the commencement of tourism investment order from 3 years to a period not exceeding 5 years. So it seems that the minister is kind of breaking away from well, not breaking away considerably, but focusing on what we have versus the hotels, which a lot of people talk about what we do not.
I actually like that approach. And this is where I think, I've said it for ages, like the BTA, the government need to get ahead. Like, you're taking the focus away from this hotel getting all these concessions to saying, no, we're in the tourism business. We need to offer incentives in every space, attractions, restaurants, and like. So I actually like that approach. Now, again, people will disagree, but when you have no power to, like, you don't have that much leveraging power, you have to kind of find ways to offer concessions. So thank you for that, Maya.
No problem. The minister also added that the Tourism Investment Act 2017, again, for those who are listening, will assist small, medium-sized businesses and local entrepreneurs who provide visitors attractions in the arts, culture, entertainment, the water activities, natural activities, and museum and historical experiences. So, get in contact with the government about any of those incentives if that relates to you. In other news, about 70 boys from primary school were engaged at the Say It Loud Summit for young boys in Bermuda that was hosted by the Ministry of National Security's Gang Violence Reduction Team. The Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, said in his statement to the young boys, "Embrace your challenges, for they will strengthen you. Seek knowledge, for it will guide you." The I Am program is a targeted and immersive initiative consisting of 12 to 16 sessions designed specifically for Bermuda's primary and middle school students. The cohort consisted of Paget Primary, Purvis Primary, Prospect Primary, and Henderson Primary School. And its objective is to mitigate risk factors, strengthen protective factors, boost academic motivation, and enhance overall development in young participants. This happened at the Fun Zone in St. David's and apparently marked a milestone in the I Am program's continuous efforts to empower and inspire the youth of Bermuda. The minister added, by providing young boys with a platform to express themselves, develop essential life skills, and explore their potential, we are taking proactive steps in preventing violence and building a brighter future for Bermuda.
I love, but again, going back to the comment I made earlier, I remember people always saying they'll win conscriptions over what you're going to fight for. Folks, young Black boys.
What's the fight?
It's what I was doing while I was doing that. Like, again, I'm not one, and you wouldn't see it on my resume. You're not going to know that I coach or a mentor, I do that stuff, because for me, that's between me and the people who are benefiting from it, right? But I love to see stuff like this, and especially when Black men are leading the charge. So again, another great story than mine.
And furthermore, I know you guys heard me report about it over the time, but the Zone In forum with the Minister Owen Darrow did happen last Thursday. So Bermuda Youth Connect were the ones that basically took that head on and ran with it, trying to get questions from all the young people in Bermuda and also going through the night with the minister. So one of the questions that were asked by one of the co-founders of Bermuda Youth Connect, RJ Peets, from the array of young people in Bermuda, was what experiences did Minister Darrow have with finding out what are the main challenges with Bermuda's youth. And the minister mentioned 2 points: the lack of inclusion for diversity and also employment. He went on to say about, he specifically pointed on the fact that 14 and 15-year-olds are having a hard time finding employment, and they didn't quite put that in their youth policy. They made it at the age, I believe, 18 or older. And he stated, well, when I was 14, 15, back in those days, you could pack groceries for money. So that was something that you could do. But he realized, and from conversations, that now if you shop in Bermuda and go grocery shopping, and you guys may have realized it too, but it's actually some adults and older seniors who are actually packing groceries now too. So it's a lot more competition for the youth and the middle and high school, even primary school, because some people just start out that young too to be packing groceries. So it's not really a viable source for them to have income anymore, as that has kind of taken over to the adult and seniors as well, because everyone's kind of trying to make ends meet.
And as a person,
that is the question.
Yeah, pack groceries. As a person who started, I just got a job, didn't tell my family. That is part of almost the change in demographic as well. In the question, I guess my question to the minister is: so now what?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone out there. Sorry, go ahead, Sherry.
Like Jamal said, the change in demographic. We have adults and seniors packing groceries when that wasn't the case years ago. Even during my time of packing groceries, that wasn't, and then there was a time period where he just said to the children, go ahead and pack groceries. You could just go away. No, it's reserved for a different demographic. And the question would be why?
I have my opinions, but again, that will take us another hour. I'm sorry.
I don't know if anyone in the audience wants to probably mention, like, what are some job opportunities for 14 and 15-year-olds in Bermuda? You know, that's the age where we're primarily trying to save money to get our bikes when we turn 16.
Yep.
Like, you know, they mentioned that as well in the form. As we think about that question, here's a quick video of the form. This question was asked by an audience member, and it had to pertain to, we're focusing a lot on sports, this person said. When are we going to start focusing on providing for, you know, the art culture in Bermuda? So here's the question and the response from the minister.
These young athletic talents, when are they going to start, when are we going to start tapping into other forms of talent such as art?
Such as art. That's actually interesting you say that. And when I say we, the premier, as well as myself, the director of culture, met with a young group of creatives about a month ago at Ocean View. And it was very similar to that, is that, well, when is government going to put the resources into the creatives? And one of the things that most creatives are looking for is a space for them to actually be creative. So there have been a couple of people that you may have seen say, well, they've identified spots. Everyone has their eye on these schools that are closing in the coming years. So everyone is already kind of like, well, that could be a good location. Or how about that be a good location? But once we identify a location, we also need to have the resources to be able to fit it out to what the creatives actually need. So it is a process that we are looking into. We are looking at different capital development funds and how we can do it that actually meets the needs of more than a few. Because what we don't want to do is get a space and say, well, we're going to do it for the visual artists, and we get it up with the visual artists, but then, you know, someone like, if I can call his name, Taylor, who's into other forms of art, may not be able to utilize that space. I've heard of individuals looking for, artists looking for studio space, and you know, the others want spots where they can draw on canvas. And so it's a lot that goes into being a creative. You know, you hear from dancers that want to create a dance studio. So we are looking into it, and once we come up with the plan that kind of suits and services the greatest needs of people, then we'll be able to divert resources solidly into the creators. But
The entire time he was speaking, all I could think about was the $800,000 to that guy and this about the studio. That's and I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but whenever I hear these conversations, I just think about that, and I think about what that $800,000 could have done for the very people that he was speaking about. And I'm sorry to go there, but you get me? Like, am I the only one thinking that, audience?
Well, and I'm thinking, Jamal, you know, what about monies being put into some of the existing companies that we already have when he's talking about dance studios? We you know, we have what was 3 or 4 standard, but you have other people coming up behind them that probably wanted to expand. How come money hasn't been put into just the arts that has been there already to expand them to more things? But we don't hear about that, you know, unless, you know, are on Instagram or anything like that. And what you're talking about is, yeah, waste of money that went where.
But let me be clear though. I don't think government should be giving any money to anyone. So I don't think that 800,000 should have went out, and I don't think they should be giving the one to creatives. I stand by that. I don't believe they should be, and I know 90% of people disagree with me. What I do think that they should be doing is creating legislation and policies that encourage private entities to give money and opportunities to creators. That's what I think they should be doing. However, it still rubs me the wrong way that they've given $800,000 away. And if you were going to give it to anyone, then there are a bunch of creatives that could have benefited from it. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, closing out my news, we got some sports-related news coming to you guys. The stuff still going on from the CAC games, but Bermuda's bowling team will be arriving in San Salvador just in time for the trio ranking and the quintet ranking after being stuck in Newark since Monday. If you heard, a lot of the teams were stuck at the airports from bad weather. And unfortunately, some disappointing news, though, because Bermuda's archery team has decided to return home, seeing as they won't make it to San Salvador on time for the competition. And that's quite disheartening because Cameron Pickering would have been the very first Bermudian to actually compete in archery at the CAC games. So really feeling for him because obviously he trained so incredibly hard for this moment, and to not be able to make it there for the competition, like, it's definitely in my thoughts.
Yeah, that's very sad. I feel for him. Yeah. How's the weather looking, Maya?
Well, before we hit to the weather, big congratulations though to the Bermuda women's hockey team because they beat Puerto Rico 4-0 in their last game after the Pool B. And today they will be playing Jamaica to see what ranking they'll be making from 5th to 8th place. It's unfortunate that they didn't tie or win their game to Barbados because that was a really close game too, but congratulations to the effort that they put in. And there'll be and I want to give a shout out to the goal scorers, which was Ivana Osborne, Georgia Harris, Alyssa De Silva, which I believe is her very first CAC games. She's one of the younger players, so it's her first CAC games and first goal, so big career for her coming up. And Maha Clark as well, who was the MVP for the qualifications that we got into CAC.
Sorry. I've been trying to do it, but Maya's. I've been waiting for the right time. I'm sorry, my timing's off today. I'm sorry.
Yes, it is. Earth drums.
I had my finger on it the entire time, just waiting for a minute to give the girls the ear on. Sorry.
But yeah, big up to the team and good luck in their game today against Jamaica. We beat them last time, so we can beat them again. So for today's weather, it's mostly sunny, slight chance of an afternoon shower, and winds are light, which is good during the afternoon, so not so much heavy winds for us. And we have a high of 84 degrees Fahrenheit today, so it's getting up there.
All right. What's the days of the year, Sherry?
Well, today is, and it's something that we do every day, Start the Conversation Day, and it's observed every year on this day. It's a day to check in with a loved one about their mental health. Mental illness may be socially isolating, so it's crucial to check in on our friends and family regularly to show them that we care about their overall well-being. The day encourages individuals to communicate with anybody without reluctance or fear.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Check on your friends and family.
Yeah, I'll start the conversation. Ask some questions. So, I want to go Rosalind family. She says, cute hairstyle, Sherry and Maya. I mean, Rosalind, they've had them for like 2 weeks. You're just noticing? I mean, come on now. Gee, what's wrong with Rosalind?
Maya, at any time you can remove Jamal from this and we can finish this out, me and you and our hairstyles. Because he doesn't have one.
He can.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Never can. Won't ever. Not possible.
No, it is. I mean, they have all these, surgeries you could get. I mean, Sherry just told me about something you could get to change your height now last week. I did.
Yeah, that one's dangerous.
I did check it out too. Don't worry. I'm not getting it, folks. I'm 6'4". Anyway, Maya.
Plans.
You'll see you soon. But real quickly, we had on Instagram stories yesterday. We were asking who would you consider the most more influential Bermudian of Premier David Burt, Dame Flora Duffy, Shiona Tarini, and Michael Dunkley. Who would you say? Because the question is there. I don't even know what it means, to be honest. Like in terms of what does influential mean? I'm asking myself that as put there. But I was asked that question, right? I was asked, and I'm like, that's a good question. But what would you guys say? Like,
did I answer it?
Oh, I have no idea, man.
Okay, I said Shiona.
Okay.
Hey, wait, we're coming back to you after the break.
Sorry, you said us. You asked.
What's your thought, Maya?
Well, that was a rhetorical question because I didn't answer, and that's my answer.
Oh, okay, cool. All righty, Maya.
What's Maya thought?
I love her neutrality at times. Maya, have a wonderful day. He'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, don't go anywhere. Let us know when we come back. Let us know who do you believe is the more influential Bermudian out of Premier David Burt, former Premier Michael Dunkley, Dame Flora Duffy, as well as Shiona Tarini. Let us know who you think the most influential is, and we'll come back discuss that after this break. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, we're doing some shopping this week. Again, get in touch with me if you'd like to know what the, how we can help you save some money. It's, I believe, People's Pharmacy tomorrow, Medical House on Wednesday, and ER Fisheries on Thursday. So again, get in touch. If you'd like to know, you can send an email to engage@thedailyhour.com or hit me up, Jamal at Bermudacommunications.com. But we want to help you save some money. So link us so we can help you. You need something from all those businesses. I get it. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Audience, we asked before we went to break on our Instagram stories yesterday, we had a question, and we want to know, who do you think is the more influential Bermudian out of Premier David Burt, Dame Flora Duffy, Shiona Turini, and former Premier Michael Dunkley? And you said, Sherry?
I have actually two, and my thought is Shiona and Flora, because I feel like it's two different areas, and so yeah, Shiona, like, if I may, Shiona, when you think of
you're cheating, but go ahead.
No, I'm not. So Shiona, in the sense of when you talk about those arts, creative, and so forth, she definitely is influential in that space. When you're talking about fashion, working with various what they call fashion houses and so forth, working with celebrities. Mm-hmm. All of that is very influential for people or young persons that are looking on TV who are seeing Beyonce and Shiona Turini is working with them. Like, to grasp that, Jamal, mm-hmm. to me, for the age group that you're looking at, is like huge, inspirational, motivational. When you talk about sports and being winning the Olympic gold medal in a triathlon, and Flora Duffy is that person to me to motivate you through all that can be in regards to that space. Mm-hmm. So to me, they are both influential on two different ends of the spectrum, but at the same token, at the base of it all is inspirational, is motivational. It's something that you can still see yourself doing for two women outside of Bermuda.
I think Sherry does some gymnastics to get out of answering one question. That's like saying he's the greatest athlete of all time, and you're saying, well, Michael Jordan, and you saying about and Muhammad Ali because it's different sports. And but
no, I still think they're two different categories. But nevertheless, I would still say Shiona before Flora.
Okay, so seems like majority of the people who responded on our Instagram stories agreed with Sherry. 52%, right? So far, more than half believe Shiona Turini. 31% believe Dame Flora Duffy. 12%, surprisingly, said Premier David Burt. And only 5% said former Premier Michael Dunkley. So it's interesting. And I don't understand what the question means. And to Karen Simmons' point, she's asking, what does the question mean, Jamel? More influential person. None of these persons have influenced me. Well, I don't think it's about whether they influence us individually or not. I think the term influencer is very popular because of social media right now, right? And I think because of social media, you've got people saying, oh, this person's an influencer, because of the amount of people that follow them or engagement they get. I think that's the worst way to measure influence, because I've seen it happen to numerous people. They get all these likes on social media, they got these followers, and share it. Guess what? They drop something to be sold and ain't nobody buying it.
I don't know. If I
Nobody
totally
buys
agree
it. So
with all of that.
I'm like, hold on. Nobody's buying it. So where's the influence, right? Now, again, they say macro influencers. I think nano influencers, which have the lowest amount of following, actually are probably better than the mega influencers, because mega influencers don't connect with people like a nano influencer. The difference, mega influencers are like maybe your celebrities with millions of followers versus a nano maybe with 1,000 followers or less than 10,000, where they connect with people. Now, back to Karen's question about the influence, none of them have influenced her. What I would take when the person's asking me is, who has the most impact in helping Bermuda? When I was asked who's the most influential Bermudian, right? It's like, okay, so influential, like you mean impact that helps Bermuda, or that people can say go to Bermuda and they would come. I would actually look at Dame Flora Duffy, and I'll tell you why. I think Shiona has made a probably greater impact in what she's done with some of the greatest celebrities on earth. But being number one at something in the entire world is a different kettle of fish. Being number one, what is it, 7 billion people now? Out of 7 billion people in something, I would honestly say that person is probably the most influential that this country will likely ever have in our lifetime, if that's how it's determined. Again, I don't know how it's determined. I don't know. I think, again, Shiona's done things that probably
dream of
by any other Bermudian. But it's something about being number one that just changes everything for a country this size. Now, keep in mind, there's no ranking in what Shiona's doing to say whether she's number one or not. It's much easier with sport. So what I will say is, I agree with Sherry. I think both Shiona and Flora have strong influences in two separate demographics and in different areas of the community. Both of them have been impactful in their areas. It's funny how we're focusing on Shiona and Dame Flora Duffy, and we literally have dumped the other two by the wayside.
I don't think it's funny. I think it's very obvious. At this point.
I wanted to say something more other than obvious, folks. I wanted her to go there with me, but
no, it's very obvious, and that's what I'm saying. Like, their influence. Yes, Dame Flora Duffy is ranked number one out of billions of people. Shiona is number one at this moment, and I would say the only difference of the two is Beyonce can fall off tomorrow and so forth. But Shiona will still carry the fact that she styled one of the biggest names in the world as far as music. She will always have that, as well as Dame Flora Duffy. So to me, I think they're just influential in different areas. And
why you ain't giving no love to Premier David Berkshire? I'm sorry.
No, and then I'm gonna then answer Karen's question.
Not gonna take the bait?
What? No, none of those persons may have influenced you, Karen. At the same token, but they influence the generation that is coming up right now. You may not be into Beyonce. You could probably give no whatever, or the fashion houses, or the different people that she styled for Slim and was it Slim and Queen and Slim, the people from Wakanda, like not Wakanda, but you know what I'm saying.
Black Panther.
Black Panther,
Yeah.
and so forth. Just this for the generation of right now to know that you can do that outside of Bermuda is huge. And some of those guests have come to Bermuda.
You just called Karen Simmons old. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Karen's looking from an older view. But I'm sure if she talked to her children, they would be like, Mama, you don't know X, Y, and Z. And she wouldn't. And that's fine. But I implore you to look at her resume.
Karen Simmons, let's have a heart-to-heart. Sherry, do you always have her back in Daily Play? Just turned you over to me. We're going to take a quick break. Let Karen Simmons marinate Sherry Earl, and we'll do the Daily Play and see how Sherry does. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Ordering from ER Fisheries has just gotten simpler. With just a few clicks of a button, you can place an order for next-day delivery or same-day pickup. Our ever-expanding list of offerings now include grocery pantry items, specialty meats, and bread and dairy items. We know things have been hard, and we're here to make planning for your next meal or party easy. Whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, we have what you're looking for. And best of all, it can be delivered to your door in 24 hours or less. Go to www.erfisheries.bm and check out our wide range of seafood, beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fruits, vegetables, and plant-based products, all available at reasonable prices. That's www.erfisheries.bm.
All right. Thanks again to all of you who've tuned in. Thanks again to BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations like we're having today. Folks, if you haven't already, whatever platform you're on, just take 2 seconds to like, love, laugh. Just give us some love on social media to let us know that you support us and that all of us aren't rude like Sherry calling people who love us old. But yeah, give us some love. Give us some love. And real quickly, Shikarina says there's also negative influences. Indeed. Cherie Dill says the other two have influence, speaking of Premier David Brett and former Premier Michael Dunkley, but probably not the type we like to talk about, LOL. I think we are probably focusing on the inspirational influences. And I agree. And I think that's to Karen's point. Do you mean inspirational? I agree. Aaron Smith says, Shiona, fellow HU pirate. And, well, folks, since she mentioned it, Aaron Smith actually helped walk right into the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, Sherry, are you ready? It's a Who Said It? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm worried.
She gave me that. Oh, here we go. Quote, the world cares very little with what you or I know, but it does care a great deal about what you and I do. Let me repeat it. Quote, the world cares very little with what you or I know, but it does care a great deal about what you or I do, end quote. And the person who quoted this was the founder of Tuskegee University and an alum of Shiona, in honor of Shiona and Aaron, Hampton University.
Oh my God. I don't know. I was gonna say Booker T. Washington. I promised you I was. I promised you I was gonna say Booker T. Washington. I kid you, but I second guessed myself.
Yeah.
First person that came to my mind is Booker T. Washington. Then I said no.
Yeah.
I promise you I was gonna say Booker T. Washington.
Aaron's a true H. I don't want to say HU and get in trouble with the Harwood people because I know Hampton and Harwood have this beef. But in honor of Aaron and Shiona today, because we have Dr. Ewart Brown on later this week and his Harwood, I don't want to get in no fights that I have no business in. All right. But yes, it was Booker T. Washington. And I love that quote. I absolutely love that. The world really does not care what you or I know. They don't. But what we do, yeah. Karen Simmons just gave it back to Sherry. I know the
But I
answer.
knew the answer too. I just didn't say it, Karen. I know the answer, Sherry, because I am old. You're mature. You're fine wine, Karen. Don't take on Jamal. You know, you and I have.
No. I ain't
And
letting
she's
that
a
go.
straight shooter.
Cousin Mark said, "Don't feel bad, Sherry." He said Barack Obama.
No, I have Booker T. Washington in my mind. Mark, you're on your end with that.
No,
Sorry.
she didn't say nothing, Cousin Mark. She didn't say nothing. Sherry, let's wrap it up. Let's talk. We talk about changing demographics, and then obviously, just now we spoke about influence. I guess most influential Bermudian of those four. But I mean, what are your thoughts on both of those?
My thoughts. We have to not water out our demographic, and we're watering out our demographic and watering down our culture. And I think that's the main thing to be able to be focused on is we need to bring Bermudians back home, so we can have a Bermudian experience. And the government needs to figure out what are they going to do about it, because there's another set of drove of people that's leaving. And I think this third one is really, really gonna hit us hard. So we need to figure out a way how we're gonna bring us back home. As far as the most influential or impact, I still stand by Shiana, and I think she's been still influential and impactful. It takes nothing from Dame Flora Duffy as well, because I do think it's still two different categories. Michael Dunkley and Premier Burt.
I'll say this: changing demographics should concern all of us for many of the reasons that Sherry and Maya said, and I just want us to be very. I want us to remove our political feelings every now and then to really, really have honest dialogue with our friends, our family, our community, and our politicians. It's looking different, and we need to address it. As far as the most influential, again, I don't necessarily know what it means, but what I will say is this. I think we should be proud of people like Shiana and Dame Flora. I don't even like the comparisons in that nature. I think they're both great, top of the games in what they do. I love the fact that people actually, the majority chose those two over the local politicians. Because I'm always saying on this very show, when it comes to heroes and national heroes who we honor, there are so much more people than politicians who are making your lives easier, giving you hope, and making an impact that can actually help you in life. And these are two of those people who are setting the stage to actually say, you know what? Shiona could be me. Dame Flora could be me. You no longer have to just look at politicians and think, I want to do that when I grow up, and that could be me. So I thank both of them for giving young people, mainly young girls, hope that they can be successful in both sport and in the fashion and entertainment space. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. The daily inspiration is being brought to you by ER Fisheries. You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And that's by A.A. Milne.
Okay. I heard that one. That's a good one. Thank you for that.
So, author and poet. And just before we go, in honor of the month of July, I have worn my Somerset colors. So I held that to the end, and I do know you noticed it.
Hold up. I noticed. I was going to say something when Maya was on, but I said, no, I'm not going to do it, right? Because I was going to try to be mature, right? Try and be mature. But let me say this. I'm speaking to HR after this show and asking for a dress code for the month of July. Because this, our audience shouldn't have to look at this.
Oh, and they will. And it's quite okay. You know, I can do this on my own. Yeah. Folks, HR, just make sure.
I'm speaking to HR, and I didn't do it this morning because I love you all. But as I ran on Facebook first time a couple months on the weekend, and I did my normal, basically Happy July to everyone except those people. Now, that said, you can show it off. We're going to make you black and white camera. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve the community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, one of us loves you, appreciates you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Wednesday. There's no show on July 4th. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We is out. In
Cherie. Look at Cherie. Michelle. Disappointed.